This week on Willful, we're talking to Angela Misri, a Toronto-based journalist, podcaster, and mystery writer, and the author of the Portia Adams Adventure Series.
That was it. That was my moment. That was my, I could be something other than a doctor or an engineer? What? What is this? So that was my first moment.
What was your parents' reaction to that?
My parents are very South Asian, let's be clear. So I got home and my mother was like over the moon excited. She was so thrilled for me. And my dad was like, here's what we're going to do. You go to medical school, you become a doctor, and then you write medical textbooks. Perfect, you do both. I'm totally exaggerating his accent right now, and he would kill me when he watches this. But that's literally what happened. So I continued on the path to become a doctor, because that's what they wanted, and that's very, again, South Asian. Went all the way up to taking the MCAT. I was working in a neurology lab, like the whole thing. And I had a teacher in university who took me aside. I was taking a Shakespeare class just for the entrance into medical school. You needed one English class. Yes. And I was taking Shakespeare, and I was like blowing it out of the water. Let me explain to you, I would have been the world's worst doctor, just to be clear. I had C's in everything else. I was barely passing like chemistry, biology, all of those. But I was getting A+ in English. And she took me aside and she said, this is ridiculous. You're a writer. You need to go talk to your parents. And that's what I did.
What's the emotional connection you feel to detective fiction?
There's a very outsider viewpoint for being a detective. You're separated from everyone else in the room because you see things that they don't. You appreciate things you don't. You have to not focus on what they're focusing on. And that's very much me. I'll walk into a room and I'll start analyzing stuff and I'll miss conversations. I have no idea what's going on because my brain will just go towards, that's weird, or that's weird, or whoa, what's going on there? I think that's what attracted me. I'm attracted to a lot of characters like that. I'm attracted to Gandalf because he's the outsider wizard. I'm attracted to Sherlock because he's the outsider detective. A lot of the characters that I feel in myself are outsiders. So I think Portia and her detective work is a very outsider perspective that I totally appreciate. I'm also like South Asian, but I look white. So it's a very outsider perspective of that too, right? I don't fit into my own culture. I don't really fit into the white culture. My parents are from India. Like there's a lot of outsider in me, and that's what I look for in characters and what I seem to draw out of my own.
Yeah. What skills does a mystery writer need that don't apply to other fiction genres?
I think a lot of the things that make you a good mystery writer are what make you a good journalist. And I bet you would agree with that, right? Because a lot of the things that we are naturally curious about that people are just like walking right by and we're like, but what's going on there? Like the things that attract us to a good story, the angles that pull us into a story, are a lot about what makes a good mystery writer. The best mystery writers constantly question, and the best journalists constantly question.
Exactly.
I think it's a lot of the same skills.
Why was writing for a young adult audience important to you?